houses. They would call us, I don't have food, I came down with the virus. We were taking food to all these people. And still today, we have deliveries of produce every other day, and we take it to every area of the city to ensure that people have something to eat, and that they can have something on the table.
I want to ask you about that.
Mhm.
People who experienced poverty before COVID are now exacerbated in a way that is unthinkable
Right.
for most people.
Mhm.
What have been the most pressing examples of the city government's response to those who have the greatest needs?
Well, we came together as a community to ensure that we were providing produce, fresh produce, because and just nourishment to so many families throughout the city of Perth Amboy. It's not just one segment of the city, once a town, one area of the city. This happened throughout the entire community. So we were taking um, food to all areas of the entire city. We have taken food to all these areas, Max, and it's still ongoing. This has been going on since March till now, and then with so many people being unemployed, now more than ever is that they need this assistance. And for those that came down with the COVID virus, we were telling them, quarantine yourselves, don't leave your house. We don't want the virus to spread. Let us know where you live, and we would take the food to them. We would leave it right on their doorsteps to make sure that their families were taken care of.
When you ran in 2008,
Hmm.
the men in this town really didn't step up. You had running mates, and I don't want to get too excited about it, but what has Wilda Diaz, the mayor of all this time now, learned about herself in terms of leadership that you didn't know about yourself when you first stepped up to run? You had guts, but you actually proved that you had governmental bona fides. And what has that been like, discovering that crisis management mayor in yourself?
I am strong. I'm a strong woman, if anything, and I think I've always stood grounded and always reflected what is important, right? You can't grow up, Max, in public housing, waiting in line for cheese like I used to do, and not understand the need of others, because I lived that, waiting in public housing, and being raised in that type of environment. I always remembered, hey, your past experience really develops who you are, as a person. You just don't forget. I never forgot, the struggles of my parents and how hard it was for my father to raise six daughters. I went to public schools. I saw firsthand, the needs of others. Going to, you can't turn a blind eye, right? And at the end of the day, it's what we do to help others. And I always said that, if I had a chance to make a change, I will. I did it with everything from children's programming to our senior programming, to making now, especially now, making sure that families, one way or the other, have nourishment and have something to eat, and have on their table, food on their table. This, you know, my life experience really shaped me to be the person that I am today.
We stood in this park one election year where you answered the misogynistic charges of your critics. I don't see an influx of a lot of women into politics in these days, and you've stood throughout all these years. If I'm not mistaken, unless something's changed, I think you're the only Latina mayor, maybe one of a few
Elected.
elected, right?
Elected. By the
So
people.
what is going on that we remain resistant to women in government, and that this misogyny hangs over the landscape? And to what extent have you confronted it, and to what extent have you conquered it, so that you want to keep going in a world that seems very very constrained by misogyny in many ways?
Well, um, if anything, I proved that I am a strong woman. I proved that I have leadership skills. Many women also have the same type of either life experiences, and again, women for the most part, because we're so multitask, we bring a lot to government. You know, we can we bring experience too. You know, I mentioned this in the past. You know, living living and working over 20 years in the banking industry really helped me be able to understand the financial woes, right, and the budget process. And that helped me be able to do what I'm doing today. And there's so many women like myself out there, you know, given a chance, given that opportunity, we can continue to build up our communities and in many different areas. You know, I would encourage, I encourage women. I always have. You know, I belong to amazing women have always supported me, the Latina Women for Political Empowerment. They are a wonderful resource and people that come together to be able to help other women. And most recently, again, they supported me. Why? Because we understand that we need more women in leadership roles, women that reflect our communities. You know, this is a Latino community, over 50,000 residents, right? And we need to also have opportunities to shape policy, be able to also sit at the table making decisions that for our community.